I'm Shabya Walia. So, the topic for today is overcoming the overwhelming. Hi, Kajal. Hi, lovely to see you here. Uh, and today was one such day of me feeling overwhelmed. So, hi, Nita. Hi. Uh, and it's so ironical that I was supposed to give a talk on overcoming the overwhelming, and I myself was feeling very very overwhelmed today. That's also because one of my favorite actors, and I'm sure all of you resonate with it, one of the iconic actors of Bollywood, Irfan Khan, passed away. And I just couldn't help breaking down when I heard the news, and I couldn't work after that. I mean, I remember I shut my laptop and I had tons of work today, lots of things to finish, but I just couldn't bring myself to work. It was almost an hour later when, hi Mavis, I decided that no, I have to get out of this and start working. And I'm sure all of us, right, at some point or the other, go through this overwhelming feeling, when you feel almost as if you've lost feeling in your legs, you feel numb. And so these are, insane times. We've never seen something like this before, at least not in our lifetime, not even in our parents actually. We've never been told to be shut down in our house, not go out, not touch someone, not hug someone, uh, you know don't take things from people, wash your hands 10 times if you've taken something. We've never been in this situation, right? Kids have never dealt with this, not going out, not going to school, study online, stay cooped up in a house. uh, so there's no reference point. Usually, when we are in challenging situations, you always have a reference point. You go back to, say, a business person saying, "Oh, yeah, business person done this and they revived the industry like that. Oh, she did this in this situation and it worked out." But there is no reference point to what we are facing today. We've never faced a pandemic like this, and now this has meant different things for different people, right? For women especially, I feel it's tough. The working women who used to go to office and had maids taking care of their homes are suddenly caught in a dual situation. They have to still be at work through Zoom, through WebEx, through camera. उनको अभी भी ऑफिस का काम भी करना है, पर साथ में अभी घर का भी काम करना है. So you have to still cook, you have to take care of the kids, you have to do the bartan, jhadu, pocha, and all without the maids. So, and some of us are not really equipped to cook every day and to do household work every day. I mean, we all like to cook once in a while and cook these exotic dishes, but not like every day, dal chawal sabzi roti, right? And you know what gets you? The mundaneness of it, the repetition of it. Get up, do everything, go to sleep, get up again, do the same things. So it is quite a task. Now, for the women who aren't working, and I would like to hear your comments. Please put your questions, comments, whatever, which, if you agree, if you disagree, do put it down in the comments. It helps me see, whether we are talking of the right things and if there is anything I need to address. So do mention, and I would love to hear those comments from you. And the women who were uh, at home, they were housewives. Okay, they looked after the home. They were very okay doing the household work, doing lots of work, and not really complaining about it. But they are also facing a similar problem now. Every housewife, after finishing her entire work, once the husband used to go away to office, the children used to go away to school, she used to breathe she used to take that me time, that 10 minutes of me time with the chai in her hand, some downtime. She used to get this little pocket in the afternoon when all work was finished and she could just sit in the balcony. But now it's not like that. The children are at home, the husband is at home, the children are demanding snacks, the husband is demanding whatever, and not all men are really helping their wives. I would love to hear that everybody is helping their wives, but a lot of them aren't. They are still thinking as if the woman is there and she's supposed to cater to everyone's needs. So that me time which the woman used to get, that's completely gone. And this feeling can be quite overwhelming because there is just no respite. Earlier, what used to happen, if you were in a bad mood, or if you just had a fight with your spouse, or you were irritated with your kids, you could step out, you could go to the market, you could go to the parlor, you could go to the salon, you could call in a friend, you could go and meet a friend, chat, have a cup of coffee, feel better, and come out. For working women, they could go to office. I mean, I remember when I was in depression after my child's birth, the moment I used to step in office, meet other people, my depression used to go down. So that interaction has just stopped, by sheer force because of this pandemic. So what do you do? What's the escape? How do you come out of this helplessness, this feeling of claustrophobia, that I cannot go beyond these four walls and I am supposed to be here and I am supposed to handle the situation, and my husband and my children and my in-laws, if you have old people at home, I know it gets only tougher. And the scarcity of things, you're not getting everything as you used to get earlier. You have to ration things, you have to keep a check on what groceries you have, what you don't have, remember the timings when the shops open. There's a lot of pressure, right? And for example, I'm a writer, and I know there are days when I just cannot take my laptop and start working, because I feel, when is this all going to end? We don't know, but we still have to write, and the motivation just doesn't come. There's a mind block, and sometimes it's so overwhelming. And I think that got to me today, when I, usually I've been quite upbeat in the whole lockdown, but today when I heard the news of Irfan Khan passing away, I think it just all came down together. The sheer helplessness of the situation. He's such a big actor, a great artist, and none of us can even, he won't even get a proper funeral befitting his stature, and none of us can go grieve. People who knew him cannot go and console his wife. It's a tough situation to be in. And I just said to myself that, how much ever money you have, how much ever resources you have, when your health fails you, there's very little you can do, right? Even if you have access to the best of healthcare, like he had access to the best of healthcare, but when your body gives up, your body gives up. So anyways, coming back to the topic, so why do we get overwhelmed? What are the key factors which make you overwhelmed? The first thing is setting unrealistic goals of ourselves. And I can say this now, I want to hear this from all the women. How many of you set unrealistic expectations of yourself? Please write in the comment. Write me. I want to ask the men too. Do you take the pressure of, oh, I want to be perfect, I want to keep everybody happy, I want to cater to everyone's needs, I want to be a good mother, good wife, good woman, good office worker? We women take a lot of stress on ourselves, right? We set unrealistic goals. We say yes to the husband, the neighbor, the friends, the children, and keep promising, yes, I'll spend time with you, yes, I'll spend time with you, yes, I'll iron your clothes, yes, I will do this too, yes, I will write a mail to your school. So setting unrealistic expectations of yourself, and then letting others also set those expectations of you, I think is a complete recipe for disaster. That's when when your body tells you that you've taken too much on your plate, and it starts giving up. Like 3-4 days back, I had this thing. I had too much to do. The to-do list was full. I was not able to. And then I was like, oh, I've taken too much of the plate. So being aware of what all you're expecting of yourself and what all the others are expecting of you, I think is a good way to, not come to the point of being overwhelmed. So start saying no. Start saying no to things you can say no to. Don't take up too much on your plate. Start telling people to contribute. Ask for help. Don't try to be Mother Teresa and say, मैं सब कुछ कर लूंगी, मैं मेरे 10 हाथ हैं और मैं सब, wherever you can't. So there are times when I say, मैंने बर्तन धो लिए हैं पर मैं बर्तन लगाऊंगी नहीं, ये कोई और करेगा. मैंने झाड़ू मार दिया है, but I cannot do पोछा today. It's, if you don't value your own space, time, your body, your capacity to do things, nobody else is going to. So you have to start drawing the lines. And the first step is to stop having this unrealistic expectations of yourself. The second is too much noise and distractions, right? We're always trying to do too much at one point of time. You're listening to me, you're watching this, but at the same time, you're looking at the phone. Maybe you've kept chai on it's chai time, so you kept chai on the gas. You're also trying to see whether your children are, we're always trying to do too many things at at the same time. And what happens then is a task which would have gotten over in 5 minutes gets extended to 40 minutes. and that again builds pressure, right? So I always say, or I always do this for myself also, that if I see this pile of clothes lying on the bed, which I keep thinking, yes, I have to, fold the clothes and keep them in the cupboard, keep fold the clothes, and I keep seeing it while I'm doing other things, and it keeps bothering me. So finally I tell myself, okay, the 5 minute plan. So I give myself 5 minutes and I say, in this 5 minutes, I will finish folding the clothes, I will put it in the cupboard, so that in my head, one task is over. And once that's over, I can come back to whatever I was doing. So start creating these 5 minute tasks. If you are supposed to do something and you're neglecting it for days together, just give yourself this 5 minute alarms. You can do a 10 minute alarm if you think the task is, but just, and don't get distracted. Keep your mobile away, keep your iPad away, tell the children, I need this 10 minutes, just finish it off. And the more you extend it, the more, it keeps getting stretched. The third thing is running on an empty tank. Uh, a car, if it has no petrol, it can only go up to a certain distance, right? If you really really want to go far, you have to stretch your resources, right? You have to handle your energy in that sense. Like I keep telling my friends, friends who started cooking 7 meal dishes every day in the lockdown, I started telling them, boy, boss, we have to last through this, right? And this may go on till I don't know when. So conserve your energy. You don't need to spend all your time in the kitchen. You don't need to do everything today. Just spread that energy to last you for 1.5 months. Okay. So we started on March 24th. It's already a month we've been inside, and more, and we don't know whether it will go on till May end, right? So conserve your energy. Don't let your tank go completely empty. Take care of yourself. Replenish yourself with food for the body, food for the mind, food for the soul, because you can only do so much when you are hungry and famished. And the next is, you want to be perfect, and this is one cross all of us women carry, right? All the time. I'm also guilty of it. We always want to be perfect, we always want to look perfect, be perfect, act perfect, and that's a huge cross to carry, believe me. And there is a lot of beauty in imperfection too. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself that little leeway. Sometimes good is enough. Like I always tell people, if you strive to make 100% tasty aloo parathas every day, by the seventh day everyone will stop complimenting you. Okay, because they will take it for granted that you make them every day, right? So sometimes good enough is good enough. You don't need to necessarily, there are some tasks where you don't need 100% perfection. So stop at 70. Why spend the rest 30% energy there? You can give it to some other task where maybe perfection is required. And I used to do this this is a thing which a director told me. He said, I said, how do you shoot so many scenes day after day after day, when we were doing a daily serial? And that person told me that, if I strive to shoot all the 9 scenes with perfection, we will never be able to telecast the episode. So what I do is, I mark out the 2 scenes which require my maximum dedication and inputs, and I work very hard on those 2 scenes. मैं जब वो 2 सीन शूट करता हूँ तो पूरा एनर्जी, सोल, संजय लीला बंसाली की तरह शूट करता हूँ, और बाकी मैं जो 5 सीन्स है वो मैं अपनी नॉर्मल एनर्जी के साथ शूट करता हूँ, नॉर्मली शूट करता हूँ. लेकिन जब एक इंसान वो एपिसोड देखता है, 30 मिनट का एपिसोड, तो उसको वो 2 सीन याद रह जाते हैं, और फिर वो सोचता है कि मैंने एक अच्छा एपिसोड देखा. The 5 scenes which were average, they get covered by the excellence of those 2 scenes. But think about it, अगर 7 सीन को excellence करना चाहेंगे, तो वो शूट ही नहीं खत्म होगी और वो सीरियल टेलीकास्ट ही नहीं होगा. And today I heard, while I was watching something about Irfan Khan, Akshay Kumar saying the same thing. He said, when I get a script, I mark out 8-9 scenes where I have to work really really hard, and then the rest I do as I am. But those 7-8 scenes I know are the highlights, and I work on that. See, that way now you stretch your energy a bit longer for a bit more, and you can then achieve perfection in those things. So mark out those scenes. What are those scenes in your life? The next is not setting enough boundaries. This is again to do with unrealistic expectations. if you are not going to set a boundary, if you're not going to tell people this is okay, this is not okay. Like, for example, I had put a business inquiry yesterday on a group, and a person started calling me at 8:30 in the morning and sending messages, calling on my phone, and it was just not acceptable. And I took the phone and I said, you cannot call me at 8:30 in the morning. You can WhatsApp me and wait for me to reply. You just cannot call me anytime. Now, if you're not going to do that, nobody else is going to respect you. They are not going. If you don't tell your husband that, no, when I am talking to my friend, you cannot come 10 times and say make chai for me. No. Like, I've told my daughter, you cannot come and ask me any questions or ask anything of me when I am doing this live. If the doorbell rings, it's your responsibility. If the kittens jump, it's your responsibility. Start setting those boundaries. The boundaries are very, very important. And you know what, there's a lot of dishes, like men always say कि पर तुमने कभी बताया ही नहीं तो मैं कैसे समझूंगा. That's a lot of communication gap, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Women always think मर्दों को समझ क्यों नहीं आता, बोलने की क्या जरूरत है. मर्द बोलते हैं अरे बोल देगी तो क्या हो जाएगा. I think बोल दो. I always say it, I always make it very, very clear to all my family members कि जब मैं चाय पी रही हूँ, like, my chai is very sacred, yeah, even before I started this, I had to have my chai because I just cannot function unless I've had my chai. Today also, I think finally after crying for Irfan Khan, what made me feel better was my chai. So, and I have told people, you cannot ask me to do anything when I'm having my cup of chai. In a way, that cup of chai is my 5 minutes of slowing down. When things get very chaotic, I go and make myself a chai, because then it forces me to just sit down, breathe, enjoy that chai, and I fight for it. So you have to fight for what keeps you sane. You have to fight. For me, it's chai. For you, it could be just hearing a song. Take a break. Say मैं एक सिर्फ गाना सुनूंगी 5 मिनट तक. मैं एक हिंदी गाना लगाऊंगी और मैं वो सुनूंगी और तब तक वो 5 मिनट में कुछ नहीं करूंगी. And breathe. Let the song play. You breathe. या मैं सुबह अपने प्लांट्स को जब अटेंड करती हूँ तो मैं और कुछ नहीं करती हूँ. या जब मैं अपने किटन्स के साथ खेलती हूँ तो मैं फोन बहुत दूर रख देती हूँ. You know what? These are forced ways of telling myself to slow down. Because मेरी भी पर्सनालिटी है कि मैं बहुत सारी चीजें अपने सर पे ले लेती हूँ. तो मैंने ये छोटे छोटे पॉकेट्स अपने दिन में क्रिएट कर लिए हैं जहाँ पे मैं थोड़ी सी शांत बैठ जाती हूँ. मैं टेरेस पे चली जाती हूँ अकेले, थोड़ी हवा खा लेती हूँ और फिर सोच कर और घूम कर और ऐसे ही जोर जोर से गाना गाकर वापस आ जाती हूँ. क्योंकि एक इंजन को स्टीम बाहर निकालना पड़ता है. You have to, if you're an engine, you have to let off steam. You have to let off steam. And people think, okay, me time is with friends, with the family, me time is only with yourself. Okay, believe me, the day you make peace with being yourself alone and you can be happy is the day you've really, really, achieved what do I say, how to live happily. Because if a person cannot live with oneself, then you cannot live with anybody. The people who are handling this lockdown well are the people who know how to live happily with oneself. The people who truly look inwards, they're very happy with their own thoughts, their own self. They're not looking for happiness outside. And if you can do that, if you can find yourself, you have to be correct, Kajal, you have to be with yourself. You can't say मैं 10 friends के साथ time बिता रही थी, that's my me time. Me, there's a reason why it's called me. It's not time with friends. Of course, time with friends is another aspect of chilling down. But the time you spend with yourself, just your thoughts, listen to your gut instinct. What is it telling you? Your gut instinct is never wrong. It will tell you slow down. अगर तुम्हारी सांसें तेज हो रही हैं, मतलब you need to slow down. If it's telling you that you're getting anxious, that means you have to slow down. There's an inner voice which always tells you things are going to go wrong. Like people who have had a heart attack, they always say that they knew something was going to be wrong. People who are on the verge of death, they say that they know that they're going away, right? You also have a premonition when something is going to go wrong. A mother always knows if the child is in some danger. If you cultivate this inner voice, it will always tell you what is right and what is wrong. Do that. Spend some time with yourself. The next is low on self-awareness and mindfulness. So if you are not respecting yourself as an individual, if you're not respecting your energies, capacity, you are not self-aware, exactly, if you're not listening to that voice inside, if you are not paying attention to your 5 senses, like I'm very aware. Sometimes I know I'm getting very, very angry and I know it's wrong. That self awareness is very important. I know certain aspects of myself I'm not very proud of, and I've been working on them. That awareness is very important. That always keeps you, within the boundaries. It always stops you from going too far, from going to extremes. So be aware of that. Like, I know if I don't get sunlight every day, I start feeling depressed. So I keep that alarm on, and once in 4 days at least I go to the terrace, alone. Of course, I'm maintaining social distancing, but just to get that sunlight, because I know otherwise I'll get depressed. तो ये वाला जो अपने आप से जो जुड़ाव है ना, इसको कभी जाने मत दीजिए. चाहे आपके 5,000 फ्रेंड्स हो फेसबुक पे, लेकिन अपने से जुड़े रहना सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई थिंक mindfulness, whatever you do it with entire. If you're listening to me, then listen to me entirely with all your heart, mind, body, soul. If you're drinking chai, then put all your energy into that. Say, I'm so grateful to this chai. I've made it with all my love, and it rejuvenates me, and thank you for this chai, and I'm going to sit and enjoy every sip till the last drop. I think that mindfulness is nothing but enjoying the present moment, and we always spoil it by trying to do too much. Of course, I am guilty of that. I am a multitasker. I try to do too many things at one time, and but believe me, now I have started to go a little easy on myself. That if I'm doing one thing, let me just concentrate on that one thing and not do 10 things. Like, if I'm doing this live, then let me not also keep thinking ki khana ban raha hai ki nahi, what's my daughter doing. No, completely switch off. I'm enjoying my time with you all. I'm feeling good about talking to you. I'm so happy that I can share what I have learned in my journey, and if some of you can benefit from it. So these were some of the reasons why we tend to feel overwhelmed, or are pushed towards feeling overwhelmed. And how do you know that you're overwhelmed, right? How do you judge that? How do you know? How are you aware that you are being overwhelmed? So overwhelmed के बहुत सारे symptoms हो सकते हैं, right? You could feel irritable. You could feel scared. You could feel there'll be a lot of sleeplessness. So maybe you are not sleeping well at nights. Okay, fatigue. You will constantly feel tired. You will feel that you have no energy. You're feeling drained. You could feel very angry. You're constantly bursting out on your family members. You're irritated. Anger is everything evokes anger. Forgetfulness. You may forget a lot of things because you're so stressed and you're trying to remember too many things. You may feel lonely. So there may be a house full of people, and you may be feeling that there is no one for you. That happens to me a lot sometimes. So that is a very it's a big sign to know that you're being overwhelmed, and it's a good state to bring a stop to it. Shortness of breath. Sometimes you feel very heavy in your chest. You can't breathe, and dehydration. You feel frustrated. You feel loss of self-worth. You feel, oh, I'm no good at anything. I cannot do anything perfectly. I need to I am no good. Nobody loves me. So a loss of self-worth. All these are signs of feeling overwhelmed. And sometimes you can keep crying incessantly. Sometimes you may just break down. Like I said today, that of course the news of Irfan dying was the the trigger, but it was the probably the feelings which were getting accumulated since so many days, which finally caused the outburst, right? So these are the symptoms. Now, how do you overcome when you're overwhelmed? What do you do? How do you deal with it, especially when you are in the lockdown, when you're in your house with only your family members and maybe just access to the phone, but you cannot go out, you cannot meet? So the first thing I always feel is, of any situation, right? Any situation, acceptance. Acceptance is such an important milestone. It is such an important tool. The moment you accept something, your journey to healing starts from there, because you have told yourself, I accept that I am overwhelmed. I accept that I am mentally tired. I accept that I have been asking too much of myself. I accept that I am not giving my body and mind the time it needs. And then you are on. Like, I have had migraine for the last 25 years, okay? And I earlier I used to live in fear. I used to constantly think, आज migraine नहीं होना चाहिए. Like even my wedding day, I was thinking, आज मुझे migraine नहीं होना चाहिए. Today is my wedding. I can't go in the mandap with a migraine. And I used to live in that fear, and every day I used to have migraine. Till finally I accepted that yes, I know I have migraine, and now I'm going to find solutions to it, to maybe not cure it, because really there is no cure, but to make sure that it doesn't happen every day. So if it was happening every day, maybe I can stretch it to 15 days. So how do I do that? So then I started empowering myself. I read everything that there was about migraine, and I felt so empowered once I had read, because I figured that okay, if I stay hungry for too long, then I can get a migraine. If I sleep or sit in very bright light, I may get a migraine. If I eat ajinomoto, I get a migraine. If I drink wine, I might get. So I figured all the causes, and over a period of last 10 years, I have had them now maybe just twice in a month. So I'm saying acceptance empowers you. Once you accept it, you accept the problem, then you can start looking for the solution. But if you don't accept it, then how are you going to look for the solution, or how is anyone going to help you? I know a lot of people, they may be going through depression, but they say, no, I am not depressed. I am not depressed. No, I'm not depressed. Actually, because of the stigma attached to it too. But when I was depressed, I went to my husband and I said, I am depressed. Please take me to the doctor. I need medicine. I feel like dying. And my husband, heard me and said, yes, let's go to the doctor. There is no harm in accepting a problem. There is no harm in accepting it's a mental disease, and you have to say, yes, I will take medicines for it. And then eventually you cure yourself, right? So acceptance. Second is reversal. So now once I know that, yes, I am overwhelmed, what do? I always say, break it up. What is making you feel overwhelmed? Break it up. When you see a mountain, it's huge. But suppose if you could break that mountain in little stones, then it wouldn't be that huge. It would just be a pile of stones. So when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I feel, oh my God, I have to do 24 things. And then I say, okay, I can probably do the 5 most important in the morning, and later I will figure out. So my way is to make a to-do list, and as I finish one thing, I just keep ticking off. That ticking off creates so much motivation for me to finish all the 24. I'm built like that, so I have to-do lists on my phone, on my iPad, on my calendars, physical calendars, on my laptop, everywhere. Sometimes I scribble in the book. So, once I start taking it off, and once I start breaking them down into small tasks, I figured that it doesn't seem mammoth. It doesn't seem monstrous. I feel that I'm in control and I can finish this, right? Another way is to delegate. Like if I feel I have 24 things, and out of that I can give 5 to my husband or my daughter, or maybe a friend or an employee, why not? So that helps me. So break it down, whatever it is, whether it's a big task. So for example, a task is going to take you 4 hours. Don't see the 4 hours. Say, okay, I'm going to break it up into many modules of 30 minutes each. I will sit for 30 minutes. I will only think about those 30 minutes, and then I will take a 15-minute break to do whatever I love, and then keep finishing off those 30 minutes modules. And once you finish, you will realize that those 4 hours have just gone by. It's only when we see things in its entirety that they seem too big. But when you break it down, really, they are just small tasks which have accumulated and become a much bigger task. So break it down. The next is, I always feel be, be is very important, right? Being yourself, being authentic. I always say, show people the true self you are. Okay, be authentic to yourself. Whatever you are, show that, because it's too much of hard work trying to be anyone else, right? If I'm somebody on camera, I'm somebody off camera, I'm somebody else for my employees, I'm somebody else for my husband, I'm somebody else for my daughter, I'm somebody else for my friends. Imagine how much work that is. I'll have to keep remembering, oh, उसके सामने ये बोला था, उसके सामने ऐसा करना है, उसके सामने मैं ऐसे बोलती हूँ, उसको मैंने ये बताया था. Just present your true authentic self to everyone. Then you will not have to keep facades. You will not have to carry a farce. You will not have to keep remembering what you had said to who. You don't have to portray images. You're true. What you're seeing of me is what I am in real life also. I just say it as it is. like the other day I was doing this session on another group, and I'm just going to check out the comments too while I'm speaking to you. And somebody said that it's very easy for you to say delegate work to husband and children, because probably you stay in a nuclear family. But what if we don't stay in a nuclear family? I stay with my in-laws, and my in-laws and everyone, nobody helps me. So I said, okay, faint one day. And and earlier she didn't understand what I was trying to say. I said, just do an act of fainting one day. Just faint, just collapse, just fall down, and let people know around you. Because if you're giving them cues and telling them that you need help and they are not listening, then finally maybe you just have to collapse and fall down. Even if it and I don't mean in the true sense, just let them feel that you are really really tired and you need help. And once you fall down, won't they all be pressed to do all the work? So she said, that's a very good idea. I said, yeah, because self-preservation is the most important thing. If you're not going to look after yourself, tell me, and if you drop down dead, then won't your husband and in-laws and children will have to cook themselves, or will they not have to do all this? So before you reach that point, take a drastic step, even if it means, acting out or doing something that calls for their attention and makes them realize. And believe me, she said, I'm going to try this out. And I mean it. If people are not listening to you in a good way or taking your cues or signals, you need to tell them in a shocking way. And that may be one of the ways to do it. So the next thing is gratitude, right? I have known this. I do this, and I know a lot of people. I think Neeta, who is watching us, will back me up on this. That gratitude takes you very very far, right? So while we all keep saying that, oh, ये problem है, वो problem है, chicken नहीं मिल रहा है, grocery नहीं मिल रहा है, बाहर नहीं जा सकते, घूमने नहीं जा सकते. I had someone who said yesterday, manicure pedicure किए कितना दिन हो गया. But just think of those migrants who have been walking thousands of kilometers just to reach their home. Think about those. You are locked in your home with your family members, people you love. There are people who do not have a home. So when you look at things you have, how blessed you are, and very often if you write them down, like if you write 5 things you're grateful for every night, believe me, you'll never get up feeling as a victim. You will always feel how blessed you are. So journaling or writing down is all the blessings you have is such a good thing to do, because I think it just makes you feel so empowered, makes you feel so thankful for all that the universe is giving you. So gratitude should be a regular to do in your list. Resources. Okay, if you're feeling overwhelmed, there are a lot of resources, right? Like one of the things is you are listening to me. There's so much on the internet you can read. You can ask for help. You can reach out to a friend. You can tell your husband. You can ask your mentor. Okay, share, because hiding it doesn't solve anything, right? But if you can tell someone that I'm feeling overwhelmed, can you help me? Or I have 10 things to finish today and I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Can you do 1 or 2 for me? I think it helps. And of course, if it is very serious and the feeling doesn't go away, then therapy is always there. And as I said, always reach out to a doctor, a medical practitioner, or don't take medicines by yourself. And it's a very normal thing to feel overwhelmed, because as I said, and I started this discussion by saying I was overwhelmed this morning, so that you know that I am personally experiencing it too while I'm talking about it. But to be aware of it, to accept it and say, yes, I was overwhelmed, but then I managed to come out of the situation only because I had these tools where I sat down, I grieved, I cried for about 40 minutes. I had made my cup of tea. Then I told myself that this is how life cycle works. People come and people go. And yes, because he was a great artist, he deserved tears and he deserved that respect. But life doesn't stop. You have to keep moving. And once I did that, once I gave myself time, okay, I'll take 2 hours off. I won't work. I'll start after 2 hours. And after I started, so I had this thing of even canceling this session. And then I was like, no, I'm committed and I should go on. So that's very important. Acceptance, reversal, taking control, me time, gratitude, journaling, reaching out to someone, talking to someone, all this helps. Expressing, okay? So if you are somebody who's an introvert and have trouble expressing to somebody else, you could always write it down. I always say to people, write it down. There is no therapy like written therapy. And when you're writing, don't go back to check the grammar and the spellings. Whatever you need to write, galis, you want to beat up someone, you want to murder someone while you're writing, write it. Nobody is going to check. And after you write it, tear it up and maybe burn it or flush it down the toilet. It doesn't matter as long as you are pouring it out. And you will feel so light here. You will feel so light here. So, I always say prevention is better than cure. Take a check on your life before you reach that point of being overwhelmed and anxious and getting a heart stroke. So, what are the 4 things which can prevent you from reaching that point? So, the first thing is one focus mindset. Okay, I know multitasking has been very glorified, and I am a multitasker too. But really, one focus mindset. So, even if you are a multitasker, what I'm trying to say is that focus on one thing at one time. It will really, really help you be centered and grounded. So just take one thing, do it well, finish it off your list, and then move to the next one. Rather than saying, I am going to open 10 cans and start doing everything together, and you will not even finish one. So if you've decided to finish 10 tasks, do it one by one, finish it. Also, I always tell people, don't take the pressure of finishing all 10 today. If you could finish 6, well and good. Postpone the next 4 for the next day. We are in lockdown. There is no deadline. We are not running anywhere. We are just trying to live, stay alive. We are just trying to survive right now. I know at other times we are always in a rat race, but right now is not the time to be in a rat race. The universe has asked you to pause because the universe could see that human beings are overwhelmed with all they have accumulated, all that they're trying to do, mostly wrong things. So the universe has said, I am going to make you all pause. I am going to make you all spend time with your loved ones. I am going to make you deal with yourself, something which you've been running away from. And sometimes it's good to listen to the universe. So take that as a pause, take that as a signal, because if the universe, the big boss, is telling you pause, you pause. Can control mindset. So I always say can control mindset is where you, from a victim mentality, you move to a solution or a hero mentality. So instead of seeking problems, finding problems, you become someone who keeps finding solutions. I've always been like that. I am a solution driven person. I may be very ruffled one day with a problem, but that's all. 24 hours is what it takes for me to be ruffled by a problem or upset by a problem. After that I get into solution mode. I am like, okay, what can I do to get rid of this problem? And then my mind starts working and I'm like, let me find the solution. Can I do this? Can I do that? Plus I am never the victim. I never play victim, because I believe that I'm a writer and I can write my life story. I can be the hero of my story. I can change the direction the story is going. And I am the pilot of that aircraft. I can take it wherever I want. I control my own destiny. So once you stop playing that victim mode and you make yourself the hero, then everything is in your hands. And rather than blaming destiny or अरे ये क्या हो गया मेरे साथ, अब मैं क्या करूं, अब मैं कैसे करूं, that you have to move ahead. You have to find the solution and move ahead. And once you tell the universe that I am ready to move and find a solution, believe me, the universe will send you 10 more solutions. This I have tried and tested various times. So there'll be one day when I'll be saying, oh, there are so many problems, मैं क्या करूं, मैं क्या होगा, ये होगा. And the next day when I say I'm going to find a solution, automatically there'll be 4 solutions, and then I'm jumping with, oh, I found a solution, because it's all about you sending out what you want to the universe. So that's the can control mindset. I can control what I want. I can control what I feel. I can control the tasks in front of me. I can control how to finish them. The next thing is practice relaxation. And this I have spoken even in the beginning, that create these little pockets in the day for your relaxation. It could be making a chai, which is for me every day, making that chai at around 12 o'clock. Sometimes I bully others to make it for me. Sometimes I go and make it myself and no one gets bullied. But you can have, deep breathing time. You can have attending to your plants time. You can listen to music. Write down some of your me time comments in the comment section. It could be talking to a friend on the phone, talking to your parents, or it could just be sitting with yourself in a relaxed posture for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day. Just burn a candle, keep looking at it. Or you may want to spend 15 minutes in your bath and take the time to feel like you're in a spa. It could be anything, but you have to create. And I you know what, rather than having 2 hours of relaxation at one go, I always feel build in 10 minutes rather throughout the day, so that you can stretch your relaxation time, and you can keep looking forward to it. Like you can keep saying, अच्छा अभी मैं 2 घंटे बहुत काम करूंगी, उसके बाद मैं 15 मिनट आराम करूंगी, या मैं 2 घंटे बहुत काम करूंगी, उसके बाद 1 घंटा मैं सोऊंगी, whatever. So create this. So I have these pockets. People think I work very hard, but believe me, I do take my time, and that I think keeps me going. Because so in the morning I will just sit till 11 o'clock, not do anything, look here, look there, read a story, or just spend time, chilling on the sofa. Then I will work again for 2 hours. Then I sit down with my chai. Then in the afternoon, because it's lockdown, I take a 30-minute siesta. Then at 5 again, I sit with my chai. Then I work again. Then I again play with my kittens or my daughter or whatever. Or I just, do some reading. All these are inbuilt in my routine. Like now, consciously, I don't have to do it because I've made it a part of my lifestyle, because I know I tend to take on a lot. So these are things to slow me down. And you should all do that. And last is, of course, express your feelings, which I've said. So the first one was one focus mindset. The second is can control mindset. The third is relaxation. And the fourth is expressing your feelings. So if you keep putting things in a bottle and not allow it to come outside, the bottle is going to burst. So you have to express. Now, how do you express? Beat up your husband. I always feel that's the best thing to do. Why do we have husbands? Yeah, so that you can remove all your frustration, anger. Okay, don't take me literally on that, but yes, why do you have a husband? So that you can talk to him, you can tell him what you're feeling, you can even express anger. If he is disappointed you in some way, say it to him. If that's not the option, your children, I always feel your children are the best listeners. Like I talk to my daughter when I have failed at work, or when somebody is disappointed me. I tell my daughter, I tell her that this happened to me today. I got bullied. Someone made me cry, and I felt very, hurt, and I cried. Even today, when I cried, she was very surprised that I was crying for an actor. And I said, "Yeah, when a great artist dies, you cry. That's the only respect you can show. Nothing else I can do, right?" So I think it's very nice to be honest to your kids, because then they get it that you are not a superwoman. You have feelings too, and you will break down if pushed against the wall. And it also encourages them to show you your feelings. Showing feelings is not a bad thing. It doesn't make you weak. Showing your vulnerability is not a bad thing. I mean, I came on camera today and the first thing I said was I cried for Irfan Khan. That's my vulnerability. That's how I felt today. And there's nothing wrong. In fact, showing your vulnerability is the biggest and the strongest thing you can do. People who are very strong are vulnerable. So do express your feelings. And as I said, if you're an introvert, you cannot talk about your feelings to your spouse, or your spouse is not receptive, or you do not have kids, or maybe your children don't have that sensitivity to hear you out, then write it down on a paper. That's the best. Paper doesn't judge you. Then burn it, throw it, flush it down, and you will feel that negativity go out of your system. So these are a few of the things I do, and I feel that we are living in overwhelming times, but it's not necessary that we get overwhelmed by it. Take one day at a time, breathe deeply, and this too shall pass. It will pass. The universe has a plan. It always has a plan. We fail the universe. The universe never fails us. Never. So have faith, belief, gratitude. These are the things everyone should live by, and believe that there will be a better tomorrow. And we'll all come out of it, and we will soon be hugging each other and smiling at each other again. And I hope this session gave you some tricks. Please do write in the comments if it made some sense to you. And thank you, Nidhi and Moshmi, for having me on Growing Buddies. And I wish you all a very, very happy second anniversary. Nidhi, you're doing a wonderful job with this community. And all the women out there who are part of Growing Buddies, happy second anniversary. And let's have a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. And hopefully the third one, we can all meet each other. And by then this lockdown is over and the corona is gone. And we are all again allowed to touch each other and say, I love you. Uh, Lots of power to all of you. Stay strong, stay safe, stay home, and all my love. Thank you.